I think it's always important to start with collateral murder, because that's where it all began. And I'm sure everyone shares the sense that this is so resonant with what is happening today, both in Gaza and in Ukraine. We know that the first casualty of war is the truth, and that for the victims, it is reporters, journalists, who are the last line of defense. Often it is also the only approximation to justice they will ever get. We have acts of impunity committed daily, and when you look at collateral murder, you realize this is not some historic event. It is an impuned war crime to this day. No one has been punished for the killing of those civilians, for the killing of those Reuters journalists. There is no justice. The only thing we can do is to expose the crime and to continue to expose the crime. And that is what Julian's work has been, to be able to defend the truth, expose the truth, and then try to get justice. Julian's imprisonment is the evidence, alongside the impunity that we see, that the justice system is not working. In fact, the justice system is being instrumentalized, is being used as a weapon against those who tell the truth. Julian's imprisonment serves a purpose. The purpose is to intimidate, to bully, to discourage journalists from telling the truth and to keeping the public ignorant, because an ignorant public is a public that can be manipulated, and manipulating the public is essential to further war. So we're in a moment in which I think it is no coincidence that at a time where Europe and the Middle East has been in a belligerent state, the likes of which we have never seen in modern times, the man who did the most to expose war, the reality and the brutality of war, has been sitting in a prison cell, unable to do his work, silenced. These two things hang together. They're part of the same phenomenon. Our access to the truth is ultimately what is being attacked. And the ripple effects of Julian's incarceration are felt everywhere. Here in Italy, the signal that is being sent by imprisoning Julian is that journalists are in a more precarious state, that it is easier to harass, that even in Western liberal democracies that are like to talk to them about themselves as the shining examples of freedom, a journalist, a publisher is being punished for telling the truth and for exposing state-sponsored criminality, and that has been allowed to unfold for years and years. Now Julian is at almost at the 5-year anniversary of his imprisonment in Belmarsh, but his persecution began long before that. The legal attack on him is just one aspect of the harassment that he has suffered: reputational, political, financial, and now through the legal system. Julian is the victim of a criminal conspiracy. We have to be clear about who the criminals are. Just because they are using the justice system to imprison him, it doesn't mean that justice or the law, international law, is on their side. Julian is being persecuted and his life is at risk. And because this case is political, support through an award like the one today, which Julian is very proud to be a recipient, are so important. It is the signaling that Julian has to be freed that will ultimately free him. And I know that Julian is very fond of Perugia, where he has been once before. He was telling me about Perugia when I told him I was coming here. I saw him yesterday morning, and he's, of course, fell in love with the city, as I think anyone who comes here falls in love with the city. And I look forward to the day, I hope soon, where we can come together to Perugia in freedom.